The seventh generation of consoles were amazing. They blessed the world with new IPs that would become household names. One of these series was Assassin's Creed. This game changed everything. In time, it would become a new Call of Duty, producing games every year. But at the time, it was only just one game. One game that was released in 2007. And I'm not reviewing that today. To tell you the truth, I like Assassin's Creed, but I just can't stand playing it. While I understand it is the first of the series, so clunkiness is to be expected, some of it is just really weird. Climbing especially, because most of the time it could just break at a moment's notice. So while I don't like the first game as much, why am I skipping it entirely? Because the game I'm reviewing today changed so much, the series would go with this new formula up until the end of the days where the Animus made sense. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at the prodigious Assassin's Creed 2. Assassin's Creed games up until Odyssey, I think, had two timelines, the modern day and the past. Most of the games would take place in the past by using a machine called the Animus. This machine allowed you to visit the memories of your ancestors, to live through them. With this technology, you had the ability to track down ancient artifacts and whatnot. The Animus was created by Abstergo Industries, which was a front for the Templars. I'll explain later, please hold on. They willingly abducted their newest subject, Subject 17, Desmond Miles. Desmond's ancestry led back to one of the greatest assassins of all time, and they needed to know anything they could about him. This assassin was named Altair ibn La'ahad. He was an assassin of the Levantine Brotherhood originally founded by Hassani Sabah. Due to bullshit that happens in the first game, he ends up acquiring the Apple of Eden. This is basically a magical ball that does whatever it wants. Okay, back to the whole Templar thing. The Templars and the Assassins have been at war for centuries, I think even since humanity began, over the pieces of Eden. With these pieces, the Templars could control humanity's free will, and the Assassins want to stop that. With the help of the Animus, the Templars are ready to end the war once and for all. That is, until Desmond starts to experience the bleeding effect. The bleeding effect is basically you gaining your ancestors' abilities by rapidly absorbing information from their life since you are reliving it, condensing years upon years of training into mere days. This allows Desmond to activate Eagle Vision, which is basically a sixth sense that the Assassins have, and Assassin's Creed 2 finally begins. Finding the blood of the previous subject plastered on the walls of his room, warning him about the truth, Desmond is then interrupted by Lucy, who reveals she is an assassin and they need to escape from Abstergo. But first, Desmond must enter the Animus one last time in order to briefly meet a new ancestor.
Mi dispiace, I was at the bank when they told me. Did I miss it? Am I too late? Give him here.
Giovanni.
Shh, my love. It will be all right. Tu sei un uditore. Sei un combattente. Perciò, combatti. Listen to him. A fine set of lungs.
And what shall we call him, my love?
Ezio. Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
The memory ends there, and they fight their way through Abstergo security and escape to their new hideout. Once they're there, they meet up with two more assassins, Sean and Rebecca. With the help of these two, Desmond is willing to enter the Animus 2.0 and work with the Assassins to find the Apple of Eden. We join Ezio Auditore as he participates in an epic brawl with the Pazzi, a rival family in Florence. During the battle, we meet with his brother, Federico, and they fight off the Pazzi. The two brothers enjoy a nightly climb across the buildings of Florence and prepare to return home. Well, at least Federico. Ezio has some other ideas. Ezio, you see, is a bit of a ladies' man, so he goes to slay a dragon. Let's go with that. After returning home, he meets with his father, Giovanni, and performs tasks for his family. These tasks allow you to explore Florence and connect with Ezio and his family. Conversations with his family show that they actually do care for each other and are very close.
Self-expression is vital to understanding and enjoying life. You should find an outlet.
I have plenty of outlets.
I meant besides vaginas.
Mother.
Back to your house then.
Si.
Ezio meets with Leonardo da Vinci, a close family friend, and all seems well. That is, until he leaves to deliver letters to his father's associates. Upon returning, he finds that his father and brothers are missing. His mother is in shock, and his sister is terrified. The maid informs Ezio that his father has been imprisoned alongside his brothers, and this pushes Ezio to meet with them. He climbs the prison, and his father informs him to find a secret chest, take everything inside, and deliver a letter to a friend. Ezio returns home, finds the door, and explores the room. He finds assassin's robes and weapons alongside the letter his father mentioned. He delivers the letter, and the next day he learns his father and brothers are going to be executed.
And your collaborators are hereby sentenced to death.
You are the traitor, Roberto, and one of them. You may take our lives this day, but we will have yours in return, I swear! We will!
Father! There! Grab the boy! He's one of them! I'll kill you for what you've done!
Ezio escapes and flees to safety. The game carries over most, if not all, of the climbing mechanics of the original, and even expands on them later in the game. The slower beginning means you have more time to learn these mechanics and have the ability to play around with them. You find out what works and what doesn't, and this leads to a smoother playthrough overall. Well, unless the climbing breaks like it does sometimes, and... I mean, hey, the climbing is smooth enough to make playing this game on the PC bearable. While playing the PC port, I was at first thrown off because no matter what I did, I couldn't get my controller to work. I found this strange because I saw the option for a controller in the menu, and you know, I'm used to playing Assassin's Creed games on consoles. So I was effectively forced to use mouse and keyboard, but I was pleasantly surprised. The control scheme is nice and fluid, and everything just clicks after about an hour or so of playing. I did encounter a bit of jank with the armed hand button being assigned to the left mouse button, as it would sometimes prompt you to press it, not telling you that your mouse must be over the icon in order for it to work. Back to the climbing, I mentioned that the original game was clunky, and while it seems this game has made improvements to the overall flow of movement, there is the jank that has been left behind. And now we move on over to the combat. Everyone, including me, remembers Assassin's Creed combat for being a system where you just have to wait until you can get a counter. While this is true for the later installments, it isn't so bad in this game. While every counter with a hidden blade is a confirmed kill, the counter window is much smaller, so that actually feels fulfilling. But every other weapon you might counter, or the opponent, would be too strong. Most enemies late game will only be counterable after you reduce their health about halfway. Due to this mechanic, I didn't really counter all that much. I found myself actually swinging my sword and dodging enemy attacks. It was nice. Throughout the game, you will have a lot to do. The main side quest, you could say, is rebuilding the Auditore Villa. To do this, you must invest your hard-earned cash in order to make the shops and villa better. For doing this, you get money deposited in a chest that adds up over time so you can go back and reap the rewards. The money you gain in the chest is based on how much you spent upgrading the villa. So, the more you spend, the more you gain. By the time you end the game, you can basically buy anything you want as long as you've maxed the main villa upgrades. There are also different weapons you can buy now instead of only using one of each like in the original. I feel the weapons available in the stores get better at a proper pace as you progress through the game. At no time did I truly feel underpowered, but I still want to know what the hell you use the dagger class for in general. It doesn't feel faster than the sword, so I don't know why it's here. There are 2 things that you must do in order to beat the game, however. Get all 35 of the Codex pages, and get the Armor of Altair. The Armor of Altair is locked behind 6 seals. Throughout the various cities you visit in Italy, there are 6 assassin tombs. Complete each one to get a seal. Get them all, you get the armor. Each of these tombs vary, and some are pretty cool. There are ones that there's just a bit of stealth and exploration, some that are just climbing, and some that are timed climbing challenges. God damn it. At least they give you checkpoints throughout the levels, so if you fuck up, it's not the end of the world. There are also a lot of super tiny collectibles if you want to go for that 100%. Main one being feathers. These things are not only small, but there are 100 of them scattered across the world. These things stopped me at 98% completion on my 360 save a year or 2 ago, and I'm still mad about that. But on top of the feathers, there are assassination contracts, races, beat-up events, and other types of things that I really didn't bother with. I remember doing them at some point, but this time around I decided not to. If you want something more to do with this game, then go ahead and try these out. The last type of collectible in this game isn't required at all, but it is very cool. The previous subject, Subject 16, basically had a bleeding effect so bad he went insane and couldn't make a distinction between the present and the past lives of his ancestors. His last moments in life had him hacking into the Animus and hiding the truth inside. These things are kind of weird and trippy, and they incorporate the lore of Assassin's Creed perfectly into our own history, showing the pieces of Eden being held by multiple important political figures. Well, perfect is a very strong word, but I can deal with it. I'm not going to talk about the rest of the story because, well, it's not the best. It's probably the best Assassin's Creed will ever get. This game is considered the best game in the series by many people, and it's easy to see why. It changed so much and made the series a fan favorite. Will I ever review the first game? Maybe. Unless someone else does. But anyway, this has been That Game Review Show. We'll see you next time.
Do I know you from somewhere?
Don't you recognize me?
It's me, Mario!